to make sure. Yes, close and personal. Okay. Hey y'all, hey. Okay, I think. Hey y'all, hey. Of course, I'm gonna let y'all join in. In the chat, I just dropped the title, which obviously is already posted, but tonight's live will be dedicated to some of the many tips that I've actually learned from some amazing TikTok or makeup artists, I should say, that have a really good platform on TikTok. And so I thought those would be like some really cool tips to come and also just try out. Fellowship, y'all know we do that here on our channel. Like we fellowship on these lives, talk about makeup, faith, life, and all that good stuff. So let me know if there's any tips that you've actually seen on TikTok. Drop them in the chat, y'all. I would love to learn what you've been seeing. Tonight, I'm going to try a few that I've seen, and also I know there are some tips that I may have not learned necessarily on TikTok, but YouTube. So I'm excited. I'm not going to keep y'all too long in this beginning phase with the talking. So I just want to go ahead and get started because I'm super excited. Y'all, I hope that this angle is really good. I tried to get up close and personal. I hope that we are as close as y'all can see me and that the lighting is good. It looks like everything is good from my end. I'm hoping and praying that's the same. I can say the same on the other end. So on you all seeing. So, but I thank y'all for joining me. Hey, yes, I want to acknowledge y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining your girl tonight. We definitely gonna get into some really fun stuff. So, like I said, I don't want to hold y'all. So, can we get started? Is that okay? Okay. So, I want to go ahead and first do my brows. Of course, y'all see I have no makeup on. We got the lips glossy because, of course, like before I do makeup, it's just a habit of mine to put on some moisturizer, like whether it be lip balm or like an ointment. I always have to just have something on my lips first. So something that I've learned how to do my brows on YouTube the most. I would say there have been some, I want to say, like reels on maybe Instagram, and then even some TikTok videos that I've seen people do the eyebrows. But for me, I would have to say that I definitely learned how to do my brows on YouTube. So of course, for me, I always start off with making sure that my hairs are brushed in place, so that my natural shape of my brow is coming out, and that that's already secured before I start outlining my brows. For me, I always use a brow pencil. If you are not new to my channel, you know that hands down, this is definitely one of the tools that I am in love and obsessed with doing my brows. So the one that I use is normally by Wet n Wild. It's their color icon pencil, and obviously the label is just because this is my holy grail, y'all, for my brows. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this in, and the color of this pencil obviously is dark brown, but the specific, I'm talking and filling in, y'all. But the specific name of the pencil is called Simma Brown now. Right? Yes, Simma. Yep, Simma Brown now. So, but for me, obviously, like it is, like I said, a dark brown, but it is closest shade to my natural brow color. So that is why I always pick up this particular color. Always, always, always. Um, and yeah, if you can find a color that may be similar to this one, but may not necessarily be this particular one, that is fine too. Um, so for me, I always start off and I outline my brow at the bottom and also at the top. I just simply outline the shape of my brow very lightly. And then in the middle, I just kind of fill it in a little bit with little light strokes. I don't go too harsh because I don't want my brows to be so dark. Because when I'm actually doing the blending process, everything is going to come together anyway. So I don't have to waste time filling them in so harshly. So then I go back in with my same brow brush, or if you have a spoolie, I know sometimes people use spoolies. Use whatever you do to just blend in your brows. And I like to start out by towards the front of my brow. Like as you see, I definitely have not like filled in the front of my brow. Left that really like bare almost, I want to say, but I did kind of like take that product a little bit further out. So I just outlined the bottom of my brow starting at the beginning of my brow, right? But at the top, I didn't actually start there. I started a little bit behind that. And I'm going to show you why. So usually what I do is I like to take with that little line in the front, I like to brush that upward. So that kind of gives us like a really faded look. Normally our brows are pretty sparse in the front. I know I've explained this probably a million times if you are not new to my channel, so you probably are familiar with my technique. But y'all, this has worked for me and I've done this so long. I've done this technique for years and I don't see myself changing it up because it just works for me. But like I just do, I just brush it upward and then I just brush it inward to just blend it in with the rest of my brow. And then I just go in and I just blend it all in. Just as simple as that. So I'll show y'all one more time. Um, Going in with that line in the beginning of my brow first and just taking my brush and brushing that upward. And then I'll go ahead and brush that product inward like so. And then afterwards, I just blend in the remainder of the products. And obviously, I'm not done here. I do like to go in to make sure that I'm sculpting my brows are pretty sculpted and all that good stuff. So I do like to clean up with concealer. Some people may stop here if that works for you. I know some people may not necessarily fill in their brow so harshly, but may just kind of like go over their natural brow shape and be good to go. And that is fine too. But for me, I normally like a nice clean brow. So I want to go in and clean up that product. And I always use a concealer. Another hack that I actually learned on YouTube, not on TikTok, was using a concealer shade to clean up around my brows. It's actually the same shade as my foundation shade or something that's going to blend right into my skin. So normally the shade that I use is by LA Girl, one of their pro concealers, and the shade that I use is in Chestnut. Once again, if you are not new to my channel, you know this is another product that I use faithfully. So this color, like I said, is called Chestnut, and this is most closely to my foundation color, or just my skin tone. So I just take my little brush. I like to use this flat brush. I love the shape of it and it fits really perfectly for me. And I like to just outline my brow, just clean up with that concealer. So, and I don't have to take too much, just enough that I can sculpt out my brows. And of course, just like I filled in my brows, I'm just going in with this product and outlining the natural shape of my brow. I'm not trying to extend or even make my brows, no, brows, y'all, what is I'm talking? What just happened? Words. But yeah, I'm not making my brows appear smaller than what they are or any larger. I'm just simply outlining the natural shape of my brow. You can get caught up. I know I'm one person that I can multitask, but child, woo, but I definitely know that I just said a whole new word. I've never heard that word before. Brawls. Okay. Sounds like I was saying bra, but brawls. A country version of saying bra. And before I move on to the top, because I do like to go on top of my brow and clean up around there, I'm going to do the same thing underneath my other brow first, just so I can get underneath my brow knocked out of the way first. So I'm just once again taking that concealer and just sculpting underneath my brow. And I also just kind of as a tip, I like to make sure that my brows are aligned together, so that one's not shorter than the other and one's not longer. So I always just kind of look up, and just make sure, okay, like they're about the same, length. I also try to raise my brows just to see, like, okay, do we have some some one of my brows look shorter, longer. This one kind of does. So I'm just gonna kind of finish this one first, and then I'll go back just kind of slightly underneath this one, just to make sure that they are both aligned. I'm telling y'all, concealer is it's everything. It can make or break your brows. All right, y'all. So now I'm just gonna go on top of my brows and just kind of apply some of that product to help clean up on top and sculpt out my brow shape on top of my brows, and that'll finish, yeah, pretty much finish off my brows. And I can also, why I really enjoy cleaning up on top of my brows too, because I can also um, like take away if I, kind of added too much product. I can sculpt out my natural shape even more instead of just allowing it to just, kind of look, make my brows look, very large. I want to make sure that they're my natural shape. So, some people I know, or at least I've also been noticing in recent years, have kind of like gone away or moved away from putting concealer on top. Um, but for me, I am still one of those folks that I'm just like, yeah, until I don't see the need to do it anymore, I'm going to keep doing it so that I know that I'm getting, you know, my brows the way I like them to be. So, yeah. But for the most part, our brows are looking pretty good. Um, I'm satisfied so far. Now, something that I like to do is I go in with my beauty blender to blend out that product. So I just go around everywhere I've placed my concealer, blend that out. And then if I have some action going on in the middle, I never want to look like I have a unibrow going. If I have product that's like kind of applied on the middle part, I also just go in, just kind of squeeze my beauty blender and just go inward just to kind of blend that out. I know everybody has their own way of blending. I'm just showing you all what I have been doing. All right. So that is that. So now y'all know if you've never tried using concealer before, concealer is definitely one of those products that you can use to sculpt out your brows. Concealer has so many uses. But yeah, y'all, using it to sculpt out your brows is definitely one of those things. Just gonna kind of carve out a little bit on my tail here just to make sure that that is nice and pointed the way I like it. All right, boom. We're good with our brows. Now we're gonna move on to um, let's see. So in this TikTok little lineup, there are a couple things in the face, some of the techniques as far as like applying face products. So I wanted to move on to those. But first, I need to apply my foundation just for demonstration purposes. Tonight, I'm using one of my favorite foundations. It's by the company Makeup Revolution. You can find their products mostly at Ulta, but of course, they also sell them online. But this is their Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. And I love the coverage and just the overall finish of this foundation. So that's why I claim it as one of my favorites. Because, yes, this was one that I came in contact with, I believe, at the beginning of 2020. Yep. I think back in like January, I came in contact with this and I was like, yo, this stuff is amazing. Um, and I had heard so much about it too, but never really wanted to try it. So finally did, and y'all, I'm in love. So just blending this out. Unfortunately, I have not necessarily learned anything new in terms of, oh, you know what? While I'm rambling, I am going to spray my foundation. So I guess this is something new, but I don't know. Y'all tell me. Y'all seen me do this before, but just say, I'm simply about to spray a little bit of my setting spray, which is normally what I would set my entire face with at the end of applying all of my makeup. But I've seen this here recently, just in case, like if you are applying like a foundation that may dry a little bit quickly, or even just kind of just if you need a little bit more assistance with the blending process while you blend out your foundation, setting your foundation first with your setting spray can kind of help with the blending process. I tried it when I first found out, wasn't necessarily a fan at that time, but now I've obviously worked it into my routine because it's amazing. So you got to try it, especially if you are in, that situation where you feel like you don't necessarily get a good um, blending process done with your foundation on its own. You need a little bit of help. This kind of gives you a little bit more, I want to say, uh, doesn't make it dewy, but it just gives you a little bit more wetness. I don't like using that word, but just makes your foundation just seem a little bit more wet on your face to allow it to blend out. I use a liquid foundation anyway. I'm just gonna spray while I'm talking, y'all. Yeah, I use a liquid foundation anyway. So you think that, oh, I don't need that assistance, but I've just kind of worked it into my routine when I apply my foundation, no matter what foundation that I use, because I do like the finish that it does give you. Once you blend out your entire face, it does give you a really good finish, in my opinion. Now, this is not necessarily something that you have to do. Like, I am not showing you all this to say, like, you must do this, you must try this. That's actually not what I'm saying with any of these techniques. I'm just showing you something a different way. Everybody has a way that works for them. If this is not necessarily something that you think that is necessary for you, you don't necessarily have to do it. I think it is neat to always just, try something if you feel like, hey, that's something different I may not necessarily need, but just want to try it. So that's actually what this was for me. And turns out that I actually did like it. Will I always do this? No, I don't necessarily know because I may find a foundation where I don't necessarily need any help with blending it out or feel like it dries quickly whenever I'm blending out my foundation. Because, say, for instance, for me, I have tried like the Fenty foundation, um, the Pro Filter matte foundation. That baby, is great as it is, dries super duper fast. And so I can definitely see me using this technique. Like, this is a must whenever I'm wearing that foundation. So that is just something that's different and new. I'm now going to move on to TikTok hack number one, pulling out another Makeup Revolution concealer product, which this is actually the matching concealer to the foundation, but this is their Conceal and Define long wear concealer. And it's actually one of the newer ones. It's called Infinite long wear concealer. So this one is stated to be crease proof. So on TikTok, the hack that I recently saw was just a different way of applying your under eye foundation, your under eye concealer. So normally, whenever you apply concealer underneath your eye, sometimes you just want to give a more brighter appearance underneath your eye, right? To make yourself look a lot more awake, all that good stuff. That's what we know we do for our under eye concealer. Normally, I've seen so many people apply their concealer in a triangle, like the upside down triangle. Definitely a person that has done that for the longest time. Now I just kind of scribble my concealer on and just blend it out. But it's my application is still not this way. So I want to say uh, this is a technique that I think can really help you with your alignment, and really just allow your concealer to have a better placement. So here, I'm going to go ahead and just apply the concealer on the side of my nose. I'm just going to place it right on the side of my nose, and I'm not necessarily going to go back in. I'm going to use what's already on my applicator and just kind of create that sculpted appearance on the side of my nose with the concealer. And then I'm going to go on the like outer corner of my eye and just kind of draw a line there as if I'm cleaning up like the edge of if I've applied like eyeshadow. So, because normally whenever we blend out concealer, right, we drag it inward and then outward towards the tip of our eyebrow already anyway, right? So if we place in just those two areas, that doesn't necessarily drag the concealer all the way down here, because if you are applying it in an upside down triangle, it's elongating that concealer when you really are trying to bring brightness underneath your eye, right? Like not your entire face. So I think that doing this technique definitely can take a lot less time with blending out your concealer, because if you apply too much, then obviously you're going to have to take some time, right? But then using this also gives you the opportunity to really bring out and enhance that brightness effect underneath your eye rather than dragging the concealer out. Not knocking the techniques we've used in the past with the upside down triangle method, but this I just think is a better placement to really focus on the underneath your eye. So I'm going to go ahead, quit rambling, and just blend out this product. And it doesn't mean I can't, take it inward. And that's my phone. Just gonna let it ring because it's actually all the way over there. But I'm gonna blend this out. So I'm taking it on the side of my nose, and then I wish I had my Apple Watch. The struggle. Okay, so then I'm just gonna blend out that concealer on the edge of my eye as well. Now, y'all, if they call back, I might have to jump up and get it. I know y'all will understand. Okay. Okay, they're not calling back. All right. So this is where I am so far with just having blended out the concealer on the side of my nose and then my eye. So what I'm necessarily seeing is that blending that concealer out on the side of my nose has given me like a more sculpted, a little like a better sculpt on the side of my nose, as if I actually bronzed in a way. It's giving me kind of like that shadow in a way, and shadow and all that is something I actually learned in theater makeup school, like stage makeup. But I'm not gonna get all into that. But I'm actually just noticing that off the bat that it does kind of give me like that shadow, as if I've already applied like bronzer or contour to the side of my nose, which I have not. I've just basically sculpted the side of my nose with my concealer. But I think that technique also goes along with this other. I want to say they call it under, well, I just saw it yesterday. It is under, I'm gonna butcher the name, but I the whatever the name is, it's actually that very technique. It's using concealer, not necessarily using bronzer, to bring out that more bronzy look. So if you didn't necessarily want to apply like a bronzer to bring like some warmth back to your face, you can use concealer in certain placements of your face and it'll give you that effect as though you did. And so just off the bat, we're using this technique for the first time for me, because y'all, this is actually my first time using these techniques since I noticed that I'm seeing that effect. And I think it's really, really dope. I love it. So this definitely, I would say, off the bat, does give more attention to the eye and doesn't elongate my concealer. I'm still going to make sure that I blend out my concealer with my foundation by going in with the bottom of my beauty blender, which is where I use to blend out my foundation. And I know y'all are seeing that harsh concealer line, but whenever you go in using this technique, you can just kind of go around the edges and it'll help bring that, like, blend it all in so it's seamless. So, but I definitely love it, and it does give you that clean, sharp, like, crease. So doing the very same thing to the other side, y'all. But I hope that helped. I hope that's a technique that makes sense and it's something that you all may also want to try yourselves. um, and I think with this, it just calls it brings attention, and really the point of it, you don't have to use so much um, to get to one single end goal, which this very much is doing that, but with less product, I think. So shout out to the TikToker who came up with this. I want to say maybe some folks on YouTube may have been doing their concealer like this lately. Um, I may have seen this done maybe like a couple times randomly, but just seeing this like on TikTok, this is why I'm just saying like I learned this from TikTok because yeah, that's where I learned it. So, mm-mm. But I will say, in terms of the shadow aspect on the side of my nose, I don't necessarily contour my nose anyway. And I know sometimes contouring your nose is used to kind of help your nose look a lot more, um, make it appear a little bit smaller. Like if you just wanted to kind of cut down on the shape of your nose. It kind of gives it appearance, y'all. It doesn't take away. Obviously, we know makeup can only go so far. So, but it's just a technique that you can use to kind of make your nose appear smaller. But I do like the shadow aspect of this technique. So if I ever kind of wanted to really focus on, oh, I want to make it look like I applied bronzer or contoured my nose, which I know that the TikToker that I actually learned this from also talked about the difference between bronzer and contour because we get those mixed up all the time. All right, y'all. Now, since I got that concealer applied, I want to go ahead and get this set so that I can move on to the next um, best thing. Yes, yours. I'm just going to set this using the powder that I use all the time, my Maybelline Fit Me Translucent, and I'm using it in the medium deep shade. I do also just been noticing that I have to be really careful with how much of this powder that I apply because it almost gives like a finish as though I'm setting my face like all over my face instead of like my concealer, and it kind of like my concealer and my like my under eye and my all over face powder at times clash because they're two different shades that I use for each. So I try to just be mindful of how much I apply. Now moving on to some contour, because that's what we're going to do today, contour. Now the difference between bronzing and contour, from what I learned, bronzer brings warmth to your face. So maybe you have applied like your concealer, your foundation, and you want to make your face just appear more tan around the perimeter or around your cheekbones. That is what bronzer is for. And you actually place bronzer a little bit underneath where you just place that highlight. Contour does more of the sculpting. So if you want to have those chiseled cheekbone appearance or that chiseled cheekbone appearance, so you turn to the side and folks see you got that pop in, sculpted cheekbone, you smile, the apples of your cheeks, you see that really sculpted cheekbone. So that is what contour is doing. I enjoy contouring. Not that I don't enjoy bronzing as much. For me, I don't definitely don't need that tan look as much, but I do like the sculpted look. But either way, I definitely think that they're very great techniques to use. So to do some contouring today, I'm actually going to use um, and then another Makeup Revolution product. This is actually their old concealer. I know this is the newer revamped concealer, a part of the Conceal and Define line. So I just have a darker shade that I've been using as a contour. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of this right onto my cheekbones. And a really good hack to kind of see where you should place this. You can make like a little side kissy face. Mm, just so you know where to place the product. And now, do I want to use that or do I want to use my brush? I'll pick up my brush. I like to take an angle brush whenever I go in to blend out any product on my cheekbones just because the brush shape fits really comfortably for me. So I just like to go in with an angle brush. So I'm just going to blend that in. And for me, I like to blend it as if I'm like blending upward. So I'm kind of almost pressing it upward in a way, but just using pattern motions, but blending upward very softly. I don't like to apply too much product, especially for contour. Because you know the products that I be using are pretty dark, I will say. And if you apply too much, it can look very muddy. And when it looks too muddy, I'm not satisfied. So I definitely try to be mindful of how much I apply. So I recommend the same thing to my viewers. Modesty. That's key. All right, y'all. Now I'm moving on to setting all over my face, taking another shade by that. Okay, that was my foundation bottle. Taking another shade by that Maybelline Fit Me translucent powder, and this time I'm using the color dark. I believe this is dark. Yep. This is just going to be where I'm going to set, what I'm going to use to set all over my face. So far with the TikTok hacks, we've learned an under eye concealer, a new way to place our concealer. Are we going to try that, y'all? What y'all thinking? And then along with that, a new way to place our contour. Of course, yes, I've talked about the different techniques that I've used always with my foundation and my brows. But I'm loving these things that I'm learning about face techniques. All right, so definitely don't like to go too heavy on the powder all over my face, but just enough. And obviously, we can still see that sculpted appearance with that concealer. And I think that really comes in handy for whenever you are maybe applying like eyeshadow. You definitely want to have a very clean look. So your eyeshadow looks very clean and defined on the outer corner of your eye. All right, now I am picking up a 3-in-1 palette. This is by the company Beauty Bakery, and this is their brown one of their face palettes, and this one is called Brownie Bar. And so I've showed this product times and times before, but I love the fact that it is a 3-in-1. So you get inside, y'all. Please forgive me for my hands; they are. We're not even gonna talk about it. But you get a contour shade, you get a blush, and then you get a highlight. Okay, there we go. So yes, contour, blush, highlight. Love this one because I've never necessarily tried a, I want to say orangey blush, and I think that was like really fitting for my skin tone. So the technique, and I'm picking up a fluffy angled brush this time. I like to apply a cream and contour bronzer just because I think sometimes whenever I like kind of set all over my face. Sometimes that powder takes away from that cream. You can still see it obviously, but I just wanted to know that it's there. So I just like to set it with a powder also. So I'm going to take this angled, fluffy brush that I like to use to place my powder contour. So I'm going in using that contour dark brown shade, and I'm just going to place that right on top where I placed the cream. And I'm more comfortable going in with a powder if I want to contour other points of my face. And so that's where bronzer comes in. So when you want to go around the perimeter of your face, bring that tan look out, that's where you can do the bronzer. So um, I'm just going to take some of that same powder and lightly dust that around the perimeter of my face. Just very lightly. So it would give me that like bronzed up appearance. All right. My favorite part, or one of them, It is that blush. So this is actually a technique I've been using for years, and I actually did first learn this on YouTube. So shout out to YouTube to that. But on TikTok, the same TikToker learning that I'm learning all these new techniques from went over the very same thing. And so that's how I know it's not a fluke. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of that product first using my little fluffy brush, blush brush actually by the company Real Technique. I'm going to dust off a little bit of that. So normally we are trained to apply our blush right at the apples of our cheeks, right? And that's amazing. I think that you can do that, but normally we always are told to smile so that we can see, the little high points of our cheeks. But notice when you stop smiling, your cheeks drop, and that's where you place that blush, right? And so that blush is basically going to be at the lower point of your cheek. And so the placement of it may just be a little bit off. So to kind of allow for it to just appear and just be placed a lot better so it can actually show up on your actual cheek. This technique I've actually learned is to not place it at the apples of my cheek, but start at the high points of my cheek still, but start at where my hairline starts and just kind of place that there and just blend very lightly inward. Not too much, but very lightly. So notice that I'm starting at my hairline and I'm not there isn't even a lot left of the product on my brush. I'm just taking what's on there and just blending that in. And I don't even have to go like all the way in, just very, maybe like 90% of my cheek, of the top of my cheek points. So yes, the lighting is kind of making this look a little washed off in person. I definitely do have that orange popping. I'm just going to apply a little bit more so you all can at least get the effect. I'm starting at my hairline and blending inward. And so that way, your placement, you actually see your blush. You can see it down here too, but it's just like it'll be all the way like near the middle of your face. And that's, you don't want that. All right. So doing the very same thing. Blend in inward. So when you think about it, your contour, bronzer, your blush, and your highlight almost are like a gradient. And that's what you basically want. So that there's a nice seamless blend. Now moving on to my highlight, y'all. I love the blush technique. I've been using that, and that's probably one of my favorite that I was looking forward to talking about here tonight. So taking just my highlight, and I'm just going to dust lightly on top of where I placed that blush, very lightly, because we know that highlight can get out of hand if you don't do it in moderation. All right, so that is my highlights. Now, another great thing here, I normally just move on to doing my eyes, which should we just do that? Move on and do our eyes? I mean, we can. I wanted to move on and do this thing. Yeah, I guess I'll do that. I'll apply my eye product first. I'll be nice. I'll be in order. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tonight is not gonna be anything extravagant. I'm just gonna pop on some mascara. I do not see my eyeliner, so I guess she's hiding. She doesn't want to come out tonight. The eyes are not as important tonight, y'all, but it's these face techniques. But I'm still gonna give my eyes some love, so I'm just gonna pop on some mascara and call it a day. Well, night at this point. And if you have been on my channel before, you know that right now I'm doing a big no-no. Girl is not using any mascara primer, but it's cool. I promise y'all. See, look, I'm doing so good. I'm not making a mess. See, I shouldn't have said nothing because, normally sometimes as soon as you say something, then It may just follow after you saying it. But no, I'm good, y'all. I'm good. See, I'm doing so good. Not making a mess. Gonna apply a little bit just to give y'all something for these eyes on tonight. Then I'll even apply a little bit to my bottom. Just a little bit. Y'all, I wish I had a technique for mascara, but I just say brush it on. It's mascara is one of those things that I don't know if I can necessarily teach a person how to do because it's like you're just brushing on the product. That's in my opinion. I mean, you're just brushing it on. All right, y'all. So what I was so eager to move on to is I know we've seen it do it before. I know, and I've actually done a video on this, but I know we love a good red lip. Red is classic, right? You know, red is is boss lady vibes. It gives you what are some other things? It's is independent is big, but red is classic. A red lip is you can't top a red lip. I mean, there's other colors out there that are amazing and look amazing, but a red lip, y'all know, red lips come through in all seasons. Period. So tonight, what I wanted to go over was basically a red lip, but I'm gonna put a twist on it. I want to show you all how to best do an ombre red lip, so it kind of gives you that really pretty lined red lip, give you kind of like vampy vibes, but at the same time as ombre, so it's really different, but just amps up the red lip for you. Makes you just pull out something new. Um, and so this is definitely, I think, a lip that I'm going for Christmas this year. So that's also another reason why I'm like, okay. But I want to say that I learned this trick on Instagram. Maybe watched Instagram reel and learned this. So what I'm going to do to show you all this, what you will need is, of course, a really nice red lip product that I want to say make sure the red is not like too dark, because if you're going to use a liner, the liner that I recommend using is a dark brown liner. So if you use something that's too dark, it may blend right in with that dark brown liner, and then you don't really get the effect. But use something that's really kind of like a ruby red, maybe. So one that I have, I may have gotten that red color wrong, but something that's not a orange red, but a blood red maybe. So the product that I'm actually going to show you all tonight to kind of give a good color gauge. Of course, we got to shout out Fenty in some way, right? But I'm using one of the Stunner Lip Paints by Fenty Beauty, and this is a popular one. This is uncensored. If you know, you know, right? So y'all see that color? Really pretty. That's the red that you want to go for. I'm going to show y'all just a quick swatch so you see the in person. So something like that. Yeah. So I said like a blood red. And so that is the red product. And then as far as the pencil, honestly, whatever dark brown pencil that you may have found that really, goes there, that's what I say use. Tonight, though, I will share what I'm using. I'm using this Perfect Precision eyeliner. This is also a lip pencil, though, too. So it just says eyeliner. But this is the Perfect Precision eyeliner by LA Girl, and this is in dark brown. And so it's a pretty lengthy pencil. But of course, I've had this for a while, so I've kind of used it up a little bit. And it's crazy because this actually has lasted me. I've used it so many times, but still a pretty good amount left. So I'm just going to go ahead and outline my lips first using this pencil. And this is a really good dark brown. It's like a super dark. So I like to really be heavy with this product. Okay. All right. Okay. So there is our lips outline. Pretty dark, right? I told y'all. So get a really good dark brown. So I'm just gonna blend that in just a little bit. And when I say y'all obviously see this lip pencil, I have to really be careful what I use this with because it is really bright. It is really, really dark. Um, yeah, but I think that this is very perfect for what I need for this ombre red lip. So now I'm gonna take my red and what I'm gonna do, especially this is a very like water based in a way product, very liquidy, very watery. So I'm just going to start out with what's already on the doe foot applicator. And so I'm going to start applying this, of course, in between my lips. Ooh, that tickles. Sorry, y'all. It does. That's supposed to happen. Supposed to be tickled in my lips. Y'all, I know that was so random. Okay. So that, and there's still products on my little wand here. So I'm going to keep applying. And I'm going to try to avoid going in those spaces where I've applied my lip liner, just right in between my lips. So blending that out first. Yep. So we're going to blend this out first. Mhm. And mind you, this product isn't wet, it isn't dry yet. It does dry matte, so it's also in that process. But so far, so good. I'm just going to apply a little bit more of that red on top. I'm going to go over with my second layer and we'll see if I need to go over my line or anything. And so we also want this to actually like dry down too. So I really don't, it's not really necessary for me to go over my liner. In a way, I feel like I need to continue to apply a little bit more of the product instead of like liner. Okay, so now I'm gonna give that an opportunity to dry down and then I'm gonna go back over with my liner. But yes, y'all, what I've definitely seen to accomplish getting a really classic ombre red lip is using a matte lip. So a matte product will set you right. I'm actually going to go in now and just set my face while we're waiting on that lip to dry down. Y'all, you know I normally have my little Sephora bag, but it's fine. I'm just gonna let this do its thing and get all good. But I feel like I have not done as many techniques today, but definitely y'all try out that concealer hack. Try out the brows. Of course. I want y'all to actually still even try out setting your foundation first before blending out. I know it may seem unnecessary to some, especially if you are using a bomb foundation that gives you a really good coverage and just finish. But just try it. Just try it, y'all. Just try it. All right. The lips are kind of drying now. So now I'm just going to take my pencil and go back over just a little bit, especially while it's semi-dry right now. Give me an opportunity to still be able to blend in the product together. Okay, my mirror doesn't want to stay. All right, I may just have to use my camera. Okay, bottom. Okay. Oh, she's cute. So I definitely didn't want to go too heavy because I don't want that. I want to have that liner blended in with the red. I don't want the brown to like be fading out the red or overpowering the red. So that's why I think applying a little bit more while it was still kind of semi wet helped the blending. So that's about it. I'm going to apply the brown. All right. So far, I think I'm going to go a little bit back over my word and apply just a little bit more. Just a little bit. It is drying down though, y'all. All right. So, what y'all think? Ombre lip or no? I think it's a go. Now, if you wanted to take it a little bit on the sides, just to kind of darken up the sides a little bit, sometimes you can do that. And this just brings that, so there's more tension in the middle. But boom, that's a red ombre lip for you, period. So, y'all, I definitely hope that that was a way that you can try that seems doable. Now, I know for some folks that may not necessarily be there with wearing like color, lipstick, and all that. I get it. But sis, I'm telling you, step out there, give yourself a chance to do it, and just get it done. Come on, y'all. But I definitely do like a really pretty matte ombre red lip. I will go for that any day over like a glossy ombre red lip. So, but yeah, y'all. So this is pretty much where we're ending on in terms of our techniques. So some of these hacks, I definitely feel and agree with them. And so obviously that's one of the reasons why I wanted to show those on tonight. But a lot of these I definitely think are useful. So you all, I definitely hope that these were some that you found yourself that you can actually try and that can work for you. And y'all show me your work. I definitely want to see what you come up with, or if you tried it, even if you may not necessarily put it a part of your routine. If you at least tried it, hey, I'm rooting for you, and I want to see you, and I want to be able to support you. So, y'all, this is it for tonight's live. Thank y'all once again for tuning in for another Makeup Friday here on my channel. I appreciate y'all the love and support that y'all show me on a weekly basis. Now, I know next Friday, it's what? Come on, especially if you celebrate it. Next Friday is Christmas. I didn't realize that, y'all. And of course, it has to be on a Friday this year. It's okay. I'm not knocking it, but it does, of course, yeah, make me rethink things because I know that a lot of us will be spending time with our family, just, enjoying the holiday cheer and all that good stuff. So I definitely don't want to barge in on that. So, you all, there will be a game plan for next week, but I definitely can tell you all right now that we more than likely will not be having necessarily a live on next Friday just to kind of be able to observe the holiday. But definitely stick around for what next week's content is going to be. You never know. Your girl just may upload a video instead of doing a live, or I may just do a live and upload a video. Very possible. We'll see. But yeah, I definitely wanted to throw that out there that um, yeah, we're definitely not going to be pulling off a live next Friday due to the holiday. But I want y'all to definitely have an amazing and a blessed holiday, getting some good time spent with your family, knowing that, hey, this is a different time that we're in, and the holiday can look very different for so many of us. Definitely with y'all on that. We want to be safe out here. So definitely, I hope and pray that y'all are being safe. But I'm going to basically end it here, y'all. This is where we are at. I definitely enjoyed doing this tonight. I thought that this was fun and this was worth trying. So I hope that you all catch the playback because, like I say every week, YouTube does this wonderful thing that they always post the playback onto my page the day after to make sure that it's published. So check back tomorrow afternoon if you want to catch this on the playback, just in case you want to actually just see this over so that you can maybe try it yourself or just to see them again. But either way, thank y'all for supporting me on tonight. I hope that y'all enjoyed this. I hope that y'all have an amazing and a blessed night. And yes, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I love you all. And of course, Lord willing, I will see you next time. Mwah. See y'all.